Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. We're going to talk about price today in this video. Look at the headline here from Daily Hodl. Veteran trader who called Bitcoin and crypto crash says XRP is on the verge of a 55% breakout. This comes from veteran trader Peter Brandt, he's a Bitcoin maxi. That's fine. But here's a tweet. I actually mentioned it the other day, but I still haven't covered it, even though it's at this point several days or so old. But there's a new article on this topic, rather. So I do want to run through this. I've also got tweets from the XRP community and chart analysts, brand new from today, I want to share with you. And then I've just got a few other articles I want to run through that are just interesting, pretty much on the topic of price. For instance, here's one from Daily Hodl. Oh, God, you gotta love Peter Schiff. Gold bug Peter Schiff. Bitcoin is the ultimate fool's gold. Could hit $100,000 before bubble burst, says Peter Schiff. I've got another article. John McAfee's he's like an entire barrel of fun. You might have been thinking maybe he's half a barrel of fun. No, a full barrel of fun. John McAfee's $1 million Bitcoin prediction mirrors 2013 to 2014 bull market. So I'm going to run through that with you. And then the last piece will be, it's from CoinDesk, titled, Bitcoin Eye's first monthly price gain since June. And again, this is an XRP-centric channel, but XRP right now, and it won't stay like this, I'm highly confident of that, but XRP is indeed tethered to the price action of Bitcoin. I want to note, since I'm going to be talking a bit about price today, I always mention this in my videos, but I want to say at the outset here, I'm not a financial advisor, no financial background, don't buy or sell because of me. That would be really just a terrible idea. Just don't do it. I'm sharing with you my opinions, and I'm sharing with you opinions from other chart analysts and so on and so forth, and people that write articles in crypto media. But that's it. I don't make predictions. I don't offer financial advice, period. So right now, crypto market cap is $241 billion, Bitcoin down $9,117 right as I record this, and XRP at 29.4 cents. So really, over the last 24 hours, there's been a little bit of volatility, but trading within a narrow bandwidth for both Bitcoin and XRP here. Nothing too terribly noteworthy. Let's go ahead and jump into this first piece here. Veteran trader calls Bitcoin and crypto crash, says XRP on verge of a 55% breakout. By the way, Peter Brandt, he's got hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter, and he has a best-selling book on Amazon. Anyway, so Peter Brandt, a veteran technical trader who gained notoriety in crypto circles after predicting Bitcoin's epic crash back in January of 2018, says XRP may be on the verge of a big breakout. In a series of tweets, Brandt says he thinks XRP may have hit a bottom after forming a diamond pattern, a formation that traders look for to identify potential reversals. And here's a quote now. This is from Peter Brandt. The diamond pattern has always been a top pattern among traditional markets. I suppose pattern might work for a bottom in crypto markets. If you want to know what a very clean diamond looks like, see XRP. And you don't have to look at the screen if you're just driving. You don't need it to fully take in what's being discussed here in this video, but feel free to take a look if you're not in a place where it would be hazardous to do so. If XRP can close above 30.38 cents, Brent says a 55% surge may be in the cards here, and then he's stating that it could get up to 46.91 cents. Now, what's interesting to me is other traders have stated, at least one, and I cited it in a fairly recent video, there's an opinion from an XRP community member who does chart analysis and trading, that if XRP is able to hit 33 cents from that point, it's just like, hey, that would be, if you can hit that point, then it'll just kind of take off. That's one of the opinions that I shared in a recent video. Let me share with you some current stuff here. Here's a tweet from Patty Stash. Now, this guy, I like following him. He's a barrel of fun. An entire barrel of fun. And he's a strong proponent for the concept of an alt season, which I'm completely on board with. I would just be completely flabbergasted if that didn't happen at some point. Because what does that mean? Just Bitcoin runs up forever and XRP and the rest of the crypto market just stays more or less where it's at right now? Yeah, I don't think so. That doesn't make a damn bit of sense to me. If you look at the volume trade around all sorts of coins today, they're not dead. Yeah, a lot of the ICO scam coins from 2017 are, but look, people still haven't figured this technology out. It's still getting traded. I'm willing, if I had to guess, and I don't offer financial advice again, If I just had to guess, I'd say an alt season is on the way at some point. Don't know when, but probably not that far off. So here's what Patty Stash had to say, though, on XRP. He writes, I wouldn't doubt XRP does one of those famous reverses Bart Simpson patterns here shortly. I love that. It just pushed through the 100-day moving average on the 1-hour chart. Historically, when that occurs, it pumps a bit. The chart just has that look, doesn't it? And here's the chart that he shows associated with that. So there's one man's opinion right there. Next year, this is from Magic, tweets out, when the Bitcoin fixation evaporates and projects are valued on their respective fundamentals, those with the greatest use case will be victorious. There is no greater use case than XRPs. Today's transaction volume is one small example of that. So this is an XRP community member who is also a chart analyst, and I think he's generally, seriously, quite insightful, and that's probably the reason that he has almost 30,000 followers on Twitter. Now, he didn't talk about XRP price today, but I like his opinions here, and he has all sorts of stuff on TradingView, but here's what he had to say, and it was kind of on the topic of something I was talking about just the other day in terms of transaction volume, and for me, it just comes down, it's my entire investment thesis is that utility matters and will win the day, period. And so I saw this tweet from Magic, and I just had to share it with you because it couldn't ring more true from my vantage point. All right, next here's a tweet from @MrLevelUp on Twitter. And he's just a real short tweet. He writes, next move, XRP, super short term. And he's got a little green arrow pointing up right here. So there's another man's opinion right there. Bullish. You can take everything for what it's worth. And then we've got, here's a tweet from Crypt Talk, XRP community member and chart analyst. He wrote, when this drop is over, next is the first big one. So he thinks it's going down further, well, in the short term. But you won't have time to understand what's happening, so do yourself a favor. Don't try to swing it, and spare me your questions about targets. Just read the charts properly when I post them. So anyway, clearly a very bullish sentiment there from Crypt Talk. All right, let's hop into the next piece here. This is from Cointelegraph. It's just price out analysis for a bunch of coins, and I really just wanted to scroll down to XRP here. One sec. Yeah, here we go, XRP/USD. The failure of the bulls to push the price higher has attracted profit booking that can drag XRP to the 20-day EMA and below it to the 50-day SMA. As both the moving averages have started to turn up, we expect the bulls to defend support levels. A bounce off the moving averages will be a positive sign that is likely to push the price towards the next target objective of 34.229 cents, where traders can book partial profits. Alternatively, if the bears sink the XRP/USD pair below the moving averages, it can dip to the next support of 24.5 cents. For now, traders can retain the stop loss on the long position at 24 cents. So there's another outlook right there. Now, this particular chart analysis is typically the case with Cointelegraph articles. They present both options, and then you look at the XRP community, and it's you can get that too, but I don't know. To me, it's like the Cointelegraph articles, they always want to hedge their bets, and I feel like the analysts that I follow within the XRP community, and it's not, mind you, it's not all just, lollipop, sunshine, and rainbows. It's more like they'll say typically here's the route I think it will go, and if they're really not sure, fine, you can get an instance where it'll be like it could be this, it could be that. But what I find is they pretty much stick to their convictions and are pretty transparent about it. But you don't quite get the same gusto from writers at Cointelegraph. Nothing against them for that. It's what they're doing now. That's how I see it anyway. All right, next here, gotta love this. Oh, Peter Schiff, I like this guy. Bitcoin is the ultimate fool's gold. Could hit $100,000 before bubble burst. And, I tweeted to this guy, Peter. So, again, I really do like him. I just think he's wrong about cryptocurrency. But I tweeted to him, and it was in response to something he said negative about Bitcoin and crypto asset class, because he thinks that it's all just nonsense and everything's going to zero. He really does believe that, as far as I can tell, anyway. Some people think he just says that because he's selling gold. Maybe that's true too. I don't know what's in the man's heart for sure, but he seems very genuine and passionate when he talks on this subject. And so I once responded to a tweet and I just said, Peter, how much time will have to pass before you will acknowledge that crypto is here to stay? Because mind you, we're already 10 years into the asset class existing. So what if it's 10 years from now and it's a 20-year-old asset class, or a 30 or 40 or 50 years? Is it still the case that humans are so stupid that for 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 years, We just haven't been able to figure out that it's actually just a big Ponzi and it's all going to go to zero. At what point will you, Peter Schiff, admit that crypto is here to stay? And so I'm sure he gets tons of notifications, probably didn't even see it, so certainly nothing against him there. But that's the question that I asked him, and of course there was no response. Womp womp. Not a surprise. But like at some point, all of the naysayers out there, there's going to become a time, enough time will have elapsed, where pretty much everyone is just going to have to be like, yeah, okay, I guess it really is here to stay. And it is, because there is something indeed to this. There's a reason after 10 years crypto is still here. If it were just some sort of weird fad thing, it would have been gone, 8-9 years ago. Seriously. Think about it. Anyway, Morgan Creek Digital co-founder Anthony Pompliano just went head-to-head with gold proponent and CEO of Euro Pacific Capital, Peter Schiff. On a new episode of the Off the Chain podcast, Schiff says Bitcoin lacks substance, utility, and is nothing like gold. Here's a quote now. When they created Bitcoin, it was designed to mimic gold. It was a counterfeit of gold. They represented a gold-colored coin even though it has no color, it has no substance. You mine Bitcoin even though you don't mine it. You solve a math problem. So they tried to make it out like they were creating gold out of nothing, but they're not. You're not creating gold. You don't have any actual gold. That's why it's the ultimate fool's gold. And then the piece continues. Schiff says he continues to believe a major Bitcoin crash is coming. But in the meantime, he says if enough people could continue to hold onto their Bitcoin and new buyers enter the market, the leading crypto could hit $100,000 before its next crash. Here's another quote from him now. Anything can happen. If people decide not to sell Bitcoin, if everybody that owns it decides that they're not going to sell and then people try to buy and there's no supply, the price could go up. It went up to $20,000. Does that mean it can't go to $50,000? It can't go to $100,000? I mean, it's possible. I just think that the odds of that happening are low. It's not impossible. It could happen. But no matter how high it goes, it's ultimately going to crash. That I'm confident of. But can the bubble get even bigger? Sure, it could. Rather than buy Bitcoin at $8,500 and think maybe it's going to go to $85,000 and I make 10 times my money, just buy some silver at $18. That probably has a better chance of going up tenfold. Well, I certainly disagree with that. Look, people haven't figured out the technology, and as far as Bitcoin going to zero, I literally, I don't know what's going to happen, but I certainly have not ruled out that concept. I really have not. I think proof of work is highly problematic, and I don't see Bitcoin being used in a real way for anything. If that changes, it could have staying power, but my entire investment thesis, again, is utility matters and will win the day. There are cryptocurrencies that have to exist in order for businesses that exist today to conduct their business models, which literally, think about what Ripple's doing. Their business model, the way that they're solving the way money moves around the world, particularly as it pertains to settlement, that solution that they have come up with, the way that they're conducting their business, is not possible without a decentralized cryptocurrency. Speculators like you and I know this, and that's why we put our money in. We get it. We're sitting here speculating. That's the way the market works, and it's a beautiful thing in my personal opinion. It's not going away. Now, Peter doesn't know anything about XRP as far as I can tell. So when he's talking about Bitcoin, yeah, it's actually a fair point. It's not getting used. If it were getting used, I'd say, Peter, I'm sorry, you're wrong. But it's really not getting used. So I don't know what it's going to look like, and I don't think it's going to tank anytime soon. If it does indeed tank, who knows? It could be years from now. I don't know how long it's going to take, but the reason it hasn't yet, it's more so that people know there is something to this asset class. They know that things can be done that cannot be done with traditional finance, and it just the network effect is also of value. Still, though, the network effect without utility, I'm just like, Because what's the value of the network effect if it's not functionally being used? Because what you're talking about is a world in which, in theory, people are connected. You can move, quote-unquote, value around the world. But why do you want to move that value, that really I should say price, if you want to move this digital asset that has price associated to it, if there's no actual utility? And so that's why I think that the network effect, yes, that's a reasonable metric by which to judge a cryptocurrency, but it makes more sense to value those coins and hold them long term, just my humble opinion, if they're actually being used for something, if there's actual adoption. And to me, that's why XRP makes all the sense in the world. All right, let's jump into the next piece here. John McAfee's $1 million Bitcoin prediction mirrors 2013-2014 bull market. The extremely bullish projection of John McAfee that Bitcoin will reach $1 million in 2020 could be based on how the asset's price action developed during the 2013-2014 boom. Back then, Bitcoin picked up in earnest, posting its first ever 4-digit price. Bitcoin price moved up from the $100 range, bouncing to above $1,030. The Reddit thread that suggested the similarity looked purely at Bitcoin charts to arrive at this conclusion. At this point, it is uncertain if the chart pattern would repeat. Still, the expectations from Bitcoin see the leading coin sticking to a parabolic path, at least in the long term. A price of $1 million in 2020 may be quite an impossibility, but there are predictions this price could be reached in a decade or two. Yeah, if it's still around in a decade or two, and if it's still trending upward, it better have some damn utility by then, seriously. It really freaking better. But yeah, 1 million by the end of 2020, Moon Lambo, if I had to guess, I would certainly say no. Okay. It must be noted that the 2014 peak price unraveled again to levels around $200. The triggering event for the 2013 rally was the activity on Mt. Gox, the Japanese exchange, which closed in late 2013 after experiencing the biggest hack in history. Back then, the price growth happened with some evidence of bot activity. As of today, Mt. Gox is still yet to return some of the locked-up Bitcoin to the victims of the breach. So, look, no. I'm sorry. And I do like John McAfee, too. It's not that I don't like these guys. I just disagree with them. But, yeah, $1 million Bitcoin by 2020, not so much. All right, last piece here, and then I'm going to wrap this up. Bitcoin eyes first monthly gain since June 2013, and I'm just going to read the bullet points here so you can get the gist of it. Number 1, there's 3 bullet points. Number 1, Bitcoin looks to post the first monthly gain since June. The percentage rise, however, may be less than 10% as the daily chart is reporting signs of buyer exhaustion. 2, a triangle breakdown on the hourly chart, if confirmed, could yield a pullback to support at 8,820. 3, a high-volume contracting triangle breakout will likely yield a retest of recent highs above $10,000. So that's it for this video, and I would love to hear from you. Feel free to drop a comment below. I like diversity of thought on this channel. I'm not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!